this very brief event. My name is Joyce Bagala. I am the Shadow Minister for Information and Anti-Corruption. Part of the cabinet is also here. We have Kaya Christine, who is the Minister for Water and Environment. We have Honorable Nabagabe Karule, who is our representative to the IPU. We have Namo Gagoreti next to me, the Minister for Innovation and Science. Honorable Nantongo Fortunate, the Minister for Gender, Labor and Social Development. We have Betty Etho Narima, who is our Minister for Local Government, other members of the Cabinet into other duties. We are marking 100 days of a leader of the opposition in Parliament. So many achievements, many challenges, but today is going to be a little different. Normally what happens is that he gives out a statement and then you ask questions. We thought it would be different and unique for members of the press to ask questions without him addressing you in a statement. You're welcome, Honorable Mpuuga, the leader of the opposition in Parliament. The members of the press are here and ready to ask you questions about the past 100 days. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, the Honorable Joyce Bagala, and our Shadow Minister for Information and Anti-Corruption, honorable colleagues, members of Parliament, partners from the different media houses, staff of Parliament, here led by our Director of the Department, Mr. Wasiku. I welcome you to this meeting, interactive media expose. It's 100 days of a huge responsibility to our office on my shoulders and the team that has buttressed this responsibility. We shall not be marking every day, but 100 days in office do elicit some form of nostalgic feeling, and in a way, you question your own bearing. The public does ask your own convictions, and the media is the mirror of the huge public expectations, does light on the journey. So we invited you to hear from you, and feel free to share with me your frustrations, your deeper inquests about how we are going about this business, because we're in the public arena and dispensing a huge public duty to which we are accountable. The reason why sometimes we do expose ourselves to answer questions, light and tough alike. So we're here for you. Don't ask me if we shall celebrate 200 days or 500 days. It's 100 days today. So I'll ask the minister to take us through the alignment of the questions, and depending on how she guides, I'll answer probably every after 3 or 4 or 5 or 1. That's for the headliner, our minister, to guide. Thank you. But I'm ready.
Thank you very much, Lop. Like you've heard, he is ready. So we'll take, I think, 3 questions, and then he answers, and then we take another 3. I hope that's okay. Okay. Call Henry.
Okay, congrats, Lord, on the 100 days notice. My name is Henry Sikati, I recently you introduced know when this is coming to the floor of Parliament? And what is it exactly that you're going to pay attention to first? And then you can also tell us about some of the challenges that you have faced in the 100 days that you have faced.
Okay.
Thank you.
Salt Media. If possible, come to the microphone.
Do you have a mobile microphone?
Yes, Honorable Leader of Opposition, congratulations and your cabinet. I have a few issues. First is to do with the information flow. In your office, it is so much lacking. You are not accessible, you're very busy. Sometimes we try to engage you, but all the time we find you so much fixed. I'm glad that the information minister is a former journalist, but she's also having a very busy schedule. There are times when we try to engage her, but she's busy heading for meetings. She tell you, I'm going for a meeting. Of course, we are not blaming her. Pray that at least fix some time. Within a week, at least you select some few days. You brief us about what is prevailing in your cabinet. The public has a lot that is happening out there. Second, the level of debate also leaves a lot of questions. Some of us feel so frustrated when you go on the floor of Parliament to present serious issues, especially things to do with the issues of national importance, and you're frustrated. About 6 members have been frustrated. Point of order, then the Speaker will tell you under which rule. Nothing can be cited. There's a way it feels that maybe it forces someone to bring a comparison with the previous administration. So I think the shadow cabinet should also look at the way you present these issues before coming to the floor. Yesterday it happened. We saw it with the Honorable Mwaga Nkunyinji. He was bringing something to do with the Chitetika. It was frustrated. Chitezi. He was frustrated. We saw it with this Honorable from Mukono, Abdallah. Something to do with the Ruwero invading. There was no report that was brought in. You came in and intervened. We saw the Health Security Minister also came. It was also squashed. I mean, it leaves some questions. I think you need to do some bit of research, and we want to see all the cabinets very active in your government. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The lady. Kindly, you mention your name and the media house.
All right. I'm by names of Chipo Brenda Mariam. I work with BTM TV. And my question is very simple. Mr. Lob, during these 100 days you have stayed in power, what have you brought forward? What have you put in place to unite all the opposition members? Thank you.
So like we said, we'll take 3 questions and then he answers, then we'll go into another 3 questions.
Thank you for the questions. Now, colleagues, I'll do last in, first out. It does no harm, because this is the opposition in Parliament. Ordinarily, the opposition is perceived to be the leading opposition party in Parliament. And when you look at the law that shapes this office, a quick interpretation makes one believe that it's entirely that party in the leading in the opposition. And the framers of the law did not properly close the fact that the opposition could be several parties in Parliament. And because of that coaching of the law, the tendency ordinarily is that some party, the domineering party, is looked at as undermining others, and therefore it's a source of potential disunity. But secondly, Some of, or part of the disunity stems from our party headquarters, and it incubates into the House of Parliament to the detriment of the work at Parliament. Do we have to be united? There is every reason and there is no excuse for us to be disunited as the opposition, because my conception of the office of the head of the opposition is that it's a platform for all parties in the opposition. We are 6 parties in the opposition, and this corridor has all the different party whips. Just one of them is away, not in the corridor because of space. But it's a whole department in Parliament. And the Administration of Parliament Act prescribes that the head of the opposition has the equivalence of a cabinet minister. Of course, I have challenges with that description. But to answer you more aptly, uniting is not an event. First of all, you must be convinced of the need to be united, first of all. You cannot herd people into a room like a cattle and say you are united now. There must be conviction as to the need to be united. And for you to do that, you need to disabuse yourself of particular tendencies that have the hallmark of incubating disunity. Over the last 100 days, as the leader of the team, I have set out to make sure that whatever we do depicts that desire to unite. To it, when we were choosing the leadership here, we took care of that need. If you look at the spectra of the leadership of committees in opposition, they are properly dotted with options from different parties. When you look at the shadow cabinet, all parties in Parliament in the opposition are represented. Of course, not in equal proportion. That is part. That's set aside. There is intra-communication at the headquarters, and that in a way will set the pace of unity. It's not an event. Do not forget, friends, that the opposition for the first time changed leadership in Parliament. You can say safely that in the country. There has never been a change of leadership in the opposition. So a transition of the opposition had the potential of brewing latent disunity. And do not close your eyes on that, that we were transiting from one team leading to another. There was some friction, but I'm glad to state that it is cascading down, and we shall find reason to work together, because in working together we safeguard our joint territory. This territory is for all of us, and an attempt to divide ourselves will be to surrender this territory. 2, a friend from Salt Media, information flow is clogged in the department. It's the very reason we are here, to hear from you. The information department of the office is taking shape. Just last month, we were able to be given a point person on communication in the department. It was never the case for several years, and you are aware. We were able to convince the commission, and we were able to appoint somebody to help us streamline communication from this office. Don't forget, colleagues, that the shape and the strands of communication are also multiple. I believe my friend is referring to the traditional communication. Yes, we are going to improve, because Communication rules the world. You're either communicating or not communicating and therefore closed out. We can't afford the luxury of being lax on how we reach out. So we're happy that you have pointed out these gaps. We are working on them in the background. For instance, in the shadow cabinet, we resolved to have a bi-weekly brief. You know, a bi-weekly brief to the country on what is going on in Parliament and the country. It will not be addressed by the LOP every time. We have a potent team in the shadow cabinet. The ministers will be headlining these pressers as part of the reach out and improve and enhance the flow of information. Your frustration with my minister, the shadow minister of information, you certainly have to understand that the first 100 days are not been easy. She's still in court. Sometimes I also look for her and I can't get her because she's in Movende in court. So I only pray that she overcomes her current tribulations in court. We all are alive to her potential to help us communicate better, but we need her presence in the House. Hopefully, she'll be able to overcome that and be available to help us shape the way we communicate. So we appreciate that concern. About the debate in the House, can I tell you, as far as I am concerned, we are taking shape. You do not have easily members walk into the House and they have matters right. The examples cited yesterday for me are acceptable. The honorable member from Chadondo East, the Honorable Mwada, raised a matter on Ochite's landfill, and he got a response from the minister, and the minister promised to take action. It's up to that person to follow up on action taken. We need to understand that Parliament is a structured organization. Parliament does not debate like a village meeting. Once you raise a matter, and the opposite raises to respond, and the speaker gives direction, then you have a duty to follow up. The issue on that was raised by the Honorable Chiwanuka too had the same kind of bearing. The reason you said I followed up because the minister, the speaker directed the minister to issue a statement. We follow up these matters differently, but also not losing sight of the need to assist, to grow the capacity, the competence of members to raise questions that are coherent. When the speaker asks under which rule are you raising, the speaker is right. Members have a duty to orient themselves on the rules of the House. Because you have a burning questions to ask, you don't change the rules of the House. You must, even questions in the House are guided. Okay? And there are different forms of questions that can be asked. You have questions to the Prime Minister. You have questions for oral answers to ministers. And the rules are very clear on how all these questions are asked. You can't simply say, I came sweating and running, I must ask my question. No. So members have a duty to self-educate on how to compose questions and on whom to ask questions and how you do a follow-up on the questions. It has been part of the learning process, and we are still helping each other to learn how things are done. I'm not one of those so scared about where we are and how my members are coping. I believe we are on the right trajectory. We shall come better. We shall be okay. I am not so worried. But we learn and unlearn every day. Mr. Sekanjako, the legislative agenda. When are you going to lay it before Parliament? The choice to lay it before Parliament is a preserve of the bearer. It's not a legal requirement. And if you're going to lay it before Parliament, then you probably have to go to the Business Committee and seek leave of the Business Committee to lay it. And that, for me, does not constrain the purpose for which this agenda was outed. The agenda is a pathway, it's a map. We mapped the work we want to do as the opposition and properly closed it in this document. The document is not conclusive. The document is a list of headlines, and we work every day to improve on it. As we speak, we are working out a framework of how to have this document implemented. But mark you, we work on improving it, but we also pick out issues in it immediately to move, and we're already moving on some of the key issues. So there's no legal requirement for me to lay it before the House. But if I chose to, then probably I'll go to the Business Committee and ask to lay it. I have not found a constraint in implementing the contents because of failure to lay it. So I'm content with how we are moving with the agenda. Above the challenges, challenges. We're not on Mars. First of all, the mere fact that you are the LOP bestows upon you a burden of care, a duty to work out the best framework of satisfying the noble obligation of being a leader to your colleagues. The first immediate challenge for me is logistical. And logistics for me are not entirely financial. Logistics in terms of space, time, and human resource. We're still under a lot of constraint, but we are not frustrated. It remains a short-term challenge. We work every day to improve our situation. We are a new team. We are not oblivious of the challenges our predecessors in the department faced, but we are using them as learning points for us to improve the way we work, so that the challenges so far encountered are surmounted, because they're not in any way insurmountable challenges. We believe they are process challenges, and we must summon the best of our skills to go around these challenges and work better and deliver on this mandate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lop. Ziwa?
Thank you so much, the Leader of Opposition and your cabinet. And I would also like to join my colleagues to congratulate you upon reaching the 100 days.
Thank you.
First of all, I would like to also appreciate the rebranding and the visibility of the office. There is really some steady progress. But aside from that, there is a concern from the colleagues that your office, particularly some of your officers, should desist from picking battles with the estate. Aside from that, the opposition works more through accountability committees, COSASE, public accounts, local government, and central, plus government assurance. But the two committees, COSASE and public accounts, central, seem to be idle and dormant because the Auditor General's reports for the previous years were concluded by the 10th Parliament. Some of the new chairpersons wanted to revive the business, but up to now, no motion has been brought on the floor, and they are idle. So is there any urgency in bringing this business so that the committees can start working? Secondly, it's now 3 months since you took over office, since Parliament officially began, but neither from your side nor from government or the private members have we seen any legislative agenda on the floor. In terms of bills, in terms of bills generally. Isn't this anything to worry you? Then lastly is about probably the method of work you've chose to use as the leader of opposition. We've seen on several times, okay, the previous leaders of opposition would see a clear standoff between the opposition and the NRM. But especially on the floor, even in debate and the positions taken. But we seem to be seeing kind of consensus building. Is this your style of work? And wouldn't this put you on a collusion course with those opposition diehards who think opposition should be opposition, no matter the case? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Herbert. A lady. Susan. Your name and media house, and then the question.
Good morning. My name is Susan Naonga. I work with UBC TV. My question is very simple. We would just love to get an explanation why NUP has persistently, or why you think you should not join IPOD.
Okay. Yes.
My name is Fred Kajiri. I work Zaban TV. I want to understand, first of all, on the issue, the fact that in the first 100 days you have your 2 MPs behind bars, is it an indictment to the opposition? And how do you perceive this? Secondly, on this issue of iPod, I wanted to supplement. iPod, it's like your style of leadership has portrayed you as a diplomat, the one who believes in consensus, building consensus. But here we are, this is a party which is building consensus in Parliament, but can't take it on a national stage. Don't you think this is a compromise or a confusion? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think you can take those 3. Actually, more than 3.
Thank you. Herbert had a plethora of questions. Some are short, I'll address them, no problem. The first one is administrative, and I hesitate to make it a national issue. And I want to encourage Herbert, if there's a problem you think that is operational, kindly reach out. I believe in openness. If there's any challenge, we can address it. We don't want to turn small side shows into global issues. So I encourage you that we handle it that way. Secondly, about the work of accountability committees. It's legal and procedural. The presiding officer in the 10th Parliament allowed a motion to prevail that considered the work of the committees that had not been scrutinized as considered. And therefore, by doing that, the House adopted the reports of the Auditor General as final, without having to go through scrutiny. Now, what happens ordinarily is that the rules give space for a reconsideration of a decision of the House. And this matter is under consideration, and then understand yesterday but one, the 4 chairpersons had a meeting with the Speaker over the motion. Because as far as we are concerned, we want a reconsideration over the motion. It has other attendant undertones that I don't want to bring out here. I want to allow the Speaker and the members so concerned to move this as per the rules, because there is space for us to recall a motion and reconsider the decision of the House as the rules so provide. I would rather that we do it that way. When we hit a snag, probably we shall inform the country of this development, because the earliest we can get fresh Auditor General's reports is probably December. So that really creates a bit of a challenge. But the committees are not idle. They're handling other business of the House. You probably know that the two committees, Public Accounts, Local Government, and Park Central, are handling the accountabilities for the COVID funds. So there's work to do for them. As also the committees take shape, noting that they have so many new members that need to undergo, some form of orientation as the business is being considered. They had lots of backlog, and the presiding officer then, in her wisdom, allowed that motion. But like I said, I would rather that we play as per the rules. The motion has been crafted. The motion actually was on the order paper 2 weeks ago. We want it reinstated. 3, the bills from the legislative agenda have not come to the floor. The government itself has not really brought one. Now, legislation is a process. And I want to invite the country to appreciate, first, the conception of the considered legislation. You do not wake up because you are angry overnight and you rush to the House with a bill. Say, I have a bill. It's a process, it is consultative, it has legal bearings, it has stakeholders. But as far as the legislative agenda is concerned, let us agree on this. First of all, legislation is not about bills alone. It's also about statements. It's also about motions. It's about questions for oral answers that can eventually generate motions and statements. And as far as we are concerned, we are on the right path. We're asking questions. Probably you can enumerate how many questions are being asked by our members. We had a turnkey motion last week on local governments. This is part of what we are doing. Motions are part of legislation. Remember, the rules and the constitution is very clear that government business is given priority. Because the government is not considered a new government, and because the government is possessed of a lot of capacity, we expect government to out bills very fast. Because from day one, when the president addresses the nation, in the State of the Nation address, the last statement should be bills that are being considered. And because of the capacity of government to generate bills, we expect government bills very fast. Independents and the opposition will definitely generate bills, but ours is a slower process. It is consultative, and it embodies so many other options at our disposal. And I can assure the country that I am not worried as to where we are, because we had to generate consensus, one, on the capacity to generate these bills and the areas we are going to focus on. And we have closed these areas in our legislative agenda. When eventually we break down the agenda into a logo frame, it will be easier for even an ordinary person to see that there's a potential bill here. This will be a motion, this will be a statement. And that's what we are trying to construct now. Then on the standoff, there are parties, the opposition is the opposition, you see, there are two things. There's being the opposition and then offering leadership. I am doing both. Others can choose to do one. But if you're going to do both the job of the opposition and then offering leadership, then probably you have got to define approach. I never wake up to be like another person. I wake up to work the way I know work is done. And you see, the business of Parliament is not a one-man show. For every human task, you need a horse and a bear. And I think I have the right mix in the opposition. And I have not stepped on any member or group to move the way they think things should be moved. And I'll try to use my skills to lead the opposition. I am not to do grandstanding as the leader of the opposition. I can shout, I can jump around, I can flex. I am the leader. I am doing both. One of the key questions ordinarily asked by the media, the general public, and the naysayers is whether the opposition can actually lead or only oppose. We are thankfully doing both. But we are not oblivious of public expectation of us as the opposition. And mark you, I am leading the opposition from a very young organization called NUP. And nobody gave NUP a chance to offer leadership. Coming out of a very violent, stolen election, how do you galvanize the country to actually believe that you are leaders and that if you were not robbed of your victory, you had the capacity to lead? We have a duty to do that, and that's what we are doing. Not that we are oblivious of the political afflictions of the day. So if, for example, a minister makes a statement, what are we supposed to do? To throw microphones at the minister as the opposition? We respond to the statement. We have responded to the Prime Minister. We have responded to every government statement on the floor. In fact, if the country were keen, they would have noticed that, for example, our response to COVID is being indirectly implemented. The regime is not humble enough to consider that we are actually tiptoeing and implementing the views of the opposition. We're trying to do our work better, but we're not trying to be like anyone or imitate or try to copycat. We are trying to be the opposition in Parliament, eyes on the public concerns, eyes on duty in Parliament, eyes on the fact that we are leaders of a suffering community, of a suffering country. So we shall get the balance. My party entrusted me with this duty, and I do not take it lightly. I do it with diligence, and my leadership is consultative. I know the pulse of my party, and there's no collision whatsoever in the way we work. We are trying to build and generate acceptability as the opposition. Just mark that even the fact that you are the opposition, there are sections of members of Parliament that have the view that the opposition is just an inconvenience. They don't look at us as lawfully being here. They believe we are just some other inconvenience. They're supposed to do things their way. You see? So how do you work when you are alive to those kind of sentiments from within and without? Susan, nope, and iPod. Well, is iPod a legal entity? iPod is by free choice. We have the political parties and the Organizations Act, a law that houses the conduct of parties. IPOD is not one of the sections in that law. But we also agree to the fact that as political parties that have a duty to generate political consensus in the country, we can belong to the collective. If you scrutinize the statement we outed on our reluctance to join IPOD, we were very unequivocal in as far as our concerns are related to the IPOD. And we said, when we believe that the conditions are good enough for us to be part of this, we shall consider to join. We did not close the door on IPOD. But you are raising questions as to whether it's just a busy talking shop, and therefore nothing of value to the quest for democracy. We asked questions and demanded of the ruling party to show cause why they need our cooperation. We have just come out of a very violent election. We are asking questions and no answers are being supplied. In the same IPOD where consensus is supposed to be built, the ruling party has annexed the military as one of its departments to ostracize and close out space for the other opposition parties. We're asking these questions and we need answers to be supplied before we are conscripted into, into a framework that has no output. So, but we did not close the door. We're asking, we need answers. Only these answers are properly supplied, we shall review our position. The same question was being asked by Fred, as whether in Parliament we look the diplomats that we want to appear. Fred, we are not grandstanding. And you see, diplomacy is not ignorance. It's a choice of method of work. Okay? And make no mistake, I can be an armed diplomat. All you have heard over that. It's a choice of how you want to work. And we have a clear distinction between what the party headquarters must be doing now and what members of parliament must be doing now. Okay? We are not trying to mimic what the party is doing, but we have the party agenda in mind as members of parliament. So let's not try to confuse the two. On the two colleagues that were arrested, you asked, is this not an indictment of NUP? How can it be an indictment of NUP? It's an indictment of those who arrested them. We came out very clearly and demanded that since they were arrested, after gathering intelligence, we await their prosecution. We demanded for a faster and quicker, transparent trial of these comrades. But we also warned that we hope this is not the tall grass the investigators have been looking for to hide away from their eternal incompetence, because they have never prosecuted such high-profile cases successfully. And by choosing to align the two colleagues, probably they want to picture to the world that they have two big fish and therefore the problem is solved. So we are not being oblivious of the past. We have also warned of past attempted prosecutions that were in vain because the investigators acted shabbily and failed to actually follow the culprits. So we are alive to these challenges, but we keep our peace and we want to give due process a chance. As the opposition, we have raised the attorneys to go and be at the defense of our colleagues, because we still maintain the fact that they are innocent.
Thank you very much, Lope. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving towards the end of this engagement, but we will definitely welcome other questions if they're still there. This is to let you know that we are joined by Honorable Juliet Kakande, the woman member of Parliament, Masaka City. We're also joined by Honorable Manjeri Chebakutika, and she's the Deputy Opposition Chief Whip and also the woman member of Parliament, Jinja City, as well as Honorable Matovu Charles, who is the member of Parliament for Wasiro South. We could take another 3, and I'm hoping they're the last questions. Yes.
Thank you, Lope. My name is Arans Tabaruka. I'm sorry I came in a bit late, but I would like you to bring me up to speed in regard to issues concerning illegal detentions of the members of the NUP, and of course very many other Ugandans. And that is to say and appreciate that, in fact, as 2 other members of Parliament, your colleagues, are in detention, it just suffices to mean that indeed that's the way and the methodology that this government works. So listening to you in the last 100 days do a better job, do you still believe that this government has changed methodology and that when they bring you on table, you would do away with quite very unfortunate ways of work that it works? Or in other words, do you think this is a honest person you are on with on table? Thank you.
Thank you, Arans. The last 2 questions from you and someone behind there. No, we start with him.
Thank you. Congratulations, Lope. I'm Issa Chigongo. I work with Channel 44 and Radio Bilal. Look, briefly, is there any tangible item you may be proud of in the 100 days? Thank you.
And the last one?
Thank you, Wachitiba. My name is Charles Mgerwa, Chigun from CBS. Wachitiba, if I remember very well, there was no formal handover from the previous Lope to you. What happened? And if it is true there was no formal handover, what does this mean to the opposition in Parliament? Then 2, adding from what my colleagues were asked about the motion that was passed to do with the Auditor General's report, why is it taking so hard for people to get that motion on the order paper? Because you said it was there, then it was removed. The committee chairpersons have to meet the speaker to discuss. What are they discussing? Because really, what interest do people have in those reports? Because people are finding it hard for the motion to get on the order paper. What is fishy? They're hiding. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Issa. I hope there is no other question. If there is, please let me know. Lope, you can answer the last batch.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaruka. First, I talked about the detentions, but particularly of the members of Parliament. The other detention that are spanning almost a year and more remain, and I want to inform the country that there are so many NUP members and non-NUP members, Ugandans, that are still being held in various military detentions and other places, and some people being held in Comunicado. In my response to the State of the Nation, I reported so many citizens and NUP members that have gone missing, and their families can't make a trace of them. To this, my submission then, we never got a response. And for me, as a lawyer, a non-response in such a serious matter is a concession. That actually the regime had these people disappear, and I warned them that these people will be counted on their heads. We have members of NUP in Kitalia, in Makindye. We have had some of them produced in the military court. We have protested, even in the constitutional court. We have even appealed the decisions made by courts relating to their continued appearance in the military courts. We are still pursuing justice for them. So many of our members were injured, some were killed. We are pursuing justice to the families. Is it that the regime will change its nature? Are they honest? You probably could ask them as to the depth of their honesty. I do not know. I wake up every day to force them out. Whether that will be done with a bouquet of flowers or with other weaponry, that's not an answer for me. I wake up every day to do what is my stride to change the trajectory of our politics. The best way is any way. At the moment, I do not have any crammed way about it, but we have a duty to do anything and everything every day to force the regime to change its spots. Honesty is alien to them. I don't know why you bring honesty in this, because it's an alien concept. But the beauty is that we know who we are dealing with. And therefore, we shall continue pushing, using all fronts to make sure that we secure justice and secure our people and bring to book. You know, what we should not really lose as citizens is that this country is a suffering country and it will need some special healing. We have warned those who wield power to rethink life after them. The inevitable fact of life is that they will go. And I've been warning them that their biggest fear is losing power. I have assured them that their biggest fear will come to pass. Power will be lost. It will be lost. And when it is lost, I will not say that the chickens will come home to roast. But then if they do not move to be part of the change, those who will actually make the change will determine their fate. But they are best advised to be part of the change, to make sure that the conversation about the future of this country, they are an integral part, so that we agree as the owners of this country. The country does not belong to the NRM and this military wing. So I agree there is a problem, but we still talk. We shall talk. We shall not fear to speak to our opponents and enemies, because we believe that talking to them, perhaps some of them live in a world of their own, and they need to be brought to understand the fact that this is our country, and all of us must find space to live in Uganda. You have heard the pontifications of General Museveni about human rights. I'm not sure that he can even spell the word human rights. But recently I've heard him speak about human rights. Whatever he means, I don't care. I wake up every day to impose it upon him that human rights are not his preserve, but a right and a God-given right. Yes, sir. What is tangible in 100 days? What do you want to touch? But I understand your question, and I respect your question. Of course, as a leader, if you want to make a difference, you plan. We have tried to plan. The question of the day is whether our plans will end out as paper tigers. But at least we have a map. We have a team. We purposefully selected a team. We did not randomly select it. It was purposive. We have a team to execute the plan we came out with. We shared with the country the plan. We are going to move with the country on its implementation. Our plan is tangible. The implementation is what we are plotting. It's barely 100 days. No question about the fact that the naysayers can now agree that we are the opposition. And we are not the opposition for the sake, we are the opposition in emotion. We're not static. And we shall continue carrying this. Probably, when we meet after some time, you'll ask me how feasible are our outputs. But I think we're on the right trajectory. Mr. Mugerwa, there was no handover. Did I break into the office? No, at least I never heard of an office break-in. The handover was not dramatic. The office was handed over. And there was no drama. It was a humble activity and a decent one. It wasn't dramatic. On the day we're supposed to do it the way you probably wanted it, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, my immediate predecessor, had lost a mother, so we did not do it the way we had planned. So we went about it in a humble way. And so there was no drama. So rest assured, there was no office break-in. About the motion, I talked about the fact that Parliament is a structured organization. For you to have a motion on the order paper, you must seek the consent of the Speaker. Those are the rules. However beautiful, forget the expectation of the public. The Speaker must consent to the motion. The Speaker determines the order paper of the House. It's the Speaker. So it means your duty to bear upon the Speaker the command of the law and the procedures, because the Speaker is not above the law. So, but like I explained, that the motion was moved in the 10th Parliament in the wisdom and judgment of the then presiding officer. So we have a new presiding officer, and the new Parliament is saying we can revisit the motion that was undertaken in the 10th Parliament. And these are matters we are considering. Like I said, if we fail, we'll come out and explain to the country about the failure of this motion. As whether people have interest in the motion, yes, everybody is interested in this motion, including those that are not interested in having it back. They are actually interested in ensuring that it's not back. Who they are, we shall know as we try to have the motion back. Why? They will tell us. So we believe that this is a very important motion, because the issue is that some of the accountabilities were not scrutinized by Parliament. And because of that, we are saying that we cannot simply carry the report of the Auditor General as conclusive. Can I even explain, colleagues, that on a number of times, when you go through the report of the Auditor General and you invite the indicted witnesses to come and testify on the report, many times the reports do not change. The findings of the Auditor General are upheld. But we are saying that for you to be able to avoid controversy, we need to go over them, because if the Auditor General's reports are challenged by those that are being indicted, then we have a problem, because a particular step was not considered. We are trying to avoid these kind of challenges, but we are decent enough to follow the requisite steps.
Thank
Is there
you.
any matter not attended to? Yes, you have chance to ask that question.
Before he asks the question, we are streaming live on Facebook and on BBS Telefina. And on Facebook, there's someone who is asking the position of the opposition in Parliament on the continued closure of schools. Another person is also asking the position of the opposition in Parliament on women issues in the country. And another person is asking about your take on the continued closure of Facebook. You can add your question so he can answer all of them together. After that, Lope, I'd like to inform you that members of staff of your office have organized something, so they will be giving it to you after this whole function, but you will have to translate to Luganda in a summary. The question.
Yes, my name is Yuda Musisi. I work with BBS. We all understand there's been a change in the way how business is transacted in the House. With no research, no debate. And this seems to have scared away most of the MPs from debate. How are you helping MPs on engaging in informed debates? It might be research and
thank you.
Just need that.
Well, let me begin with questions from the social media handle, the continued closure of schools. Our Shadow Minister for Education is supposed to have a statement on the order paper this week, hopefully today or tomorrow. I'm yet to confirm from her. And in that statement, we are coming out clearly on our considered position on what we believe is now inordinate and a delayed closure of schools, because our view is that if inoculation or vaccination is for students and children above 18, there's no reason why those below 18 are at home. At least a phased opening of schools is what we believe should take place now, as long as their teachers have been inoculated. Then the children should be in school. I think we should give chance to the minister to present his statement. The Shadow Minister, Honorable Brenda, has an elaborate statement for which we have secured space on the order paper this week to be presented as our position on the closure of schools. But we believe that a phased opening of schools should have ensued weeks back, given the fact that we have elected on which portion of students and children are supposed to be inoculated. Let me not be preemptive. On the women issues, the question is so broad. Women are part and parcel of our body politic, and whatever affects them affects the entire society. Women issues, their education, their health care. For each of these headliners, as NUP, as the opposition, we have a position. And we are going to articulate some of these that have been highlighted in our agenda using statements in Parliament as part of informing the country, our policy platform on so many issues. So this is a broad subject, and I hesitate to bite it in bits. But all I can say in broad terms is that we are alive to matters relating to women, their spatial status, their afflictions that are gender sensitive, and at an opportune moment, we shall out our plan in a statement on the floor on these various subjects. Women in education, women in leadership, women in so many sectors, women in agriculture. We have positions on these. Facebook closure, what can I say? Strangely, those who closed it are enjoying it via other channels. Hypocrisy. On another day, we advise that the future of this country is in advancing technology. So we are dealing with crass hypocrisy. You cannot purport to be building a progressive society when you are closing communication. I can disagree with you on several fronts. I can never close your space to speak. What do you think? It is an act of cowardice on the part of the regime. It's a sign of lack of foresightedness on the part of the regime. And it's part of what we have called as an attempt by the regime to roll back on democratic space and civic space by keeping the population uninformed. And if you see the recent crackdown on civil society, it's part of the attempt by the regime to close space through which the population can share information and bring to fore the abuses of the regime. Mr. Msisi, no research, no debate. But should a member be reminded that they have to research before they debate? So exactly what do you speak when you have not researched, even if you have not been reminded by the speaker? So will you go to the floor to actually say what? I think it's a no-brainer. But what I know is that the speaker is trying to save House time by encouraging structured debate. And part of, for example, what you saw on Wednesday, we had a minority report from the budget committee, if you recollect. And the majority report and the minority were both laid on the floor. When they were read, the speaker advised that the two sides do retreat to the VIP room and build a consensus. Now you also must know that we have a new presiding officer of the House, and he has his methods of work. He said, can't you hammer out these differences in the VIP room? And indeed, when we retreated, the majority had to climb down on their positions. And sometimes it does work, but depending on the issue into play. So I want to encourage members to consider this job as full-time, and they should give it time. Do not run from your market stall and come to debate in the House without information. It goes without saying. So research a must, because what are you going to speak to the country? Are we helping colleagues? Yes and no. No, because they came here to work. You come to work, you are prepared. Yes, because certain issues are particular. You need to be technically advised. But what we are doing as the opposition is that we are building capacity through trainings and orientations. We are beaten down by COVID, that our capacity to roll out the way we wanted as a form of orientation was inhibited. But we continue to do so in our enclaves to sharpen the edges of our teams to work better. The shadow cabinet, the committees, and the other members in the opposition. Learning never ends. I'm a veteran of this trade, but I also learn every day on how to do my work better. So we are helping. We have so many new members, young men and women, very sharp. But the job of Parliament needs particular skills, which we are helping each other to really pick and work better. We can never cease to do this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Leader of the Opposition in Parliament. Personally, I would like to reiterate our commitment to improving the information flow and communication from the office. I think right now you could give a summary in Uganda for the members of the press who are interested. And then after that, the members of staff will bring what they prepared for you, and we'll go into breakfast. Thank you.
Yeah, chijja kwanguye ekyo ndowooza. Thank you.
Owekitiibwa tubadde tubuuza mu bufunze mu nnaku 10 ezisoose biki bye wenyumiriza mu buvunaanyizibwa obwakuweebwa?
Emyaka ennaku 10 nyingi bw'oba mu kifo kyendimu, bw'oba ozibala bubazi ntono. byensinga okwenyumirizaamu ekisooka kwebaza ekibiina kyange okuntikka obuvunaanyizibwa obwo. Nenyumirizaamu kuba nti nafuna ttiimu ekkiriza okukola nange ate nekkiriza okumpuliriza ate n'okukkiriza enkola gye njagala tukolemu emirimu. Ekimu ku bikulu ebyatuukibwako kwe kuteekawo ttiimu eyo erimu abakulembera obukiiko obulondoola ensimbi z'omuwi w'omusolo, ate erimu ttiimu erimu shadow cabinet, ate erimu n'abakulembeze abatukiikirira mu nkiiko zitabamawanga mu nsi ez'enjawulo nga IPU, nga PAP, ate ne Commonwealth, ate n'amawanga agatta ensi z'Obuyisiraamu. Tulinayo abakiise bangi abatuyambako okutuukiza obuvunaanyizibwa bwaffe abampeebwa ate be twakkaanyaako tukola omulimu guno. Omulimu guno tugukoledde ennaku 100, tusobodde okukola enteekateeka namutaayiika gye tugenda okugoberera mu bbanga lye tunaamala mu office, kubanga okutya okwaliwo nti bwe mutuuka wano ekibiina ekikulemberamu oludda oluvuganya mu Parliament kibiina kipya, kibiina kito, waliwo abalowooza nti tusuuliddwa mu nnyanja empanvu ate n'amagulu gombi tugataddemu n'olwekyo tugenda kubbira. Naye mu nteekateeka yaffe tuyambiddwa okuba nti bwe twatuuka wano twasobola okukola enteekateeka etuyamba okutuukiza obuvunaanyizibwa buno ate n'okulaba nti tetubbira mu nnyanja wakati. Olunaku lw'osoose ogenda okuwuga bakusuula mu luuyi lw'ekidiba olusinga obuwanvu oyinza okuganywako. N'enteekateeka eno tuyambye okusobola okuyita mu kusoomooza kwe twandisanze mu kaseera kano. Enteekateeka yaffe emanyikiddwa, twagigabana n'eggwanga lyonna ne tutegereka bye twagala okukola. Katugenda mu maaso gitemaatema eveemu ebyo ebyangu okutambuza ereke kufaanana nga omugugu oguli awo ogutali musumulule. Katuli mu gisumulula nga tuva ku bitono nga tudda ku binene.
Kolagana yammwe n'ebibiina ebirala nga NUP erongoose kati?
Enkolagana y'ebibiina eringa bufumbo. Bwe ponga oli kisolo naye lw'ofunye omukyala si lw'omuwoowa waliwo eyeewuunyiza. Emitendero olina ogiyitamu egyo egisobola okufuula obufumbo obwo obufumbo obuli mu mateeka. Enkolagana yaffe n'ebibiina ebirala egenda erongooka. Ebyagifuula erimu ebirumira tetuli bato nnyo obutabitegeera. Tuze tubyebuulirirako n'okuteekawo empuliziganya ennuŋŋamu n'abo bwe twalinako obutakkaanya nabo. Ate obutakkaanya buno tiwaali nnyo nti bulina ensonga ez'essimba, naye obumu bwalimu obuntuntu, okwegulumiza ate n'okugezaako abamu okuyisamu bannaabwe ag'engege. Naye ndowooza tugenda tugatta omuwaatu ogwo, empuliziganya egenda etereera, kubanga obwetaavu bw'okukolagana tebwetaaga muntu yenna kubutuwaako musomo. Tubutegeera bulungi nnyo mwe tujja okubeerawo kwaffe, buli omu ng'alwanirira munne, buli omu ng'ataasa munne, n'ekisinga obukulu nga tulwanirira ebyo ebikulu bye tusinga okukkiririzaamu.
Obukiiko obulondoola ensimbi z'omuwi w'omusolo ab'opposition bwe mukuliramu bwe businga okubajjayo engeri gye mukolamu emirimu, naye mu kiseera kino tebulina mirimu. Mwalina ekiteeso ekyokomyawo Auditor General's reports, mutuuseewa?
Kituufu obukiiko obwo buna bwe tukulira nga aboludde oluvuganya bukulu nnyo kubanga butambulirwako okulondoola ensimbi z'omuwi w'omusolo, era ng'ebiseera ebisinga buba bulondoola ebitongole ebyo gavumenti byessaamu ensimbi. Obukiiko buno twagenda okutandika Parliament ey'okumin'ogumu ng'emirimu gye bwandikoze eyalinganga amawolu ag'emyaka egiyise. Parliament ey'ekkumi amawolu ago yagajjawo n'egamba nti kitutte nti amawolu ago galiiriddwa nga si mabugumye. tu ekiteeso ekijjulula amawolu ago kyaleetebwa mu Parliament. Okwebuuza kugenda mu maaso kubanga amateeka gatukkiriza okujjulula ebyo ebyakolebwa Parliament y'e10. Tuli mu kuyita mu mitendera emitongole egiyitibwamu okujjulula ekiteeso ekyo. Ekiteeso ekipya kireetebwe ekikomyawo emirimu egyo egitaakolebwa gisobole okukubwamu tooki. Kubanga waliwo obulabe singa wabeerawo obutakkaanya mu Parliament nga waliwo abalowooza nti emirimu gyakolebwa mu ngeri ya kibugwe ate nga waliwo abalina obumativu. So walina okubaawo ebikolebwa mu mateeka kyekigenda mu maaso okugezaako okusalawo ku nsonga eno okulaba nti ekiteeso ekikomyawo lipoota za Auditor General zikomawo mu Parliament ate obukiiko busobola okukola. Naye si kituufu nti obukiiko buno tebulina mirimu. Mu kiseera kino buli mu kulondoola ensimbi eza COVID era obuvunaanyizibwa bwa Parliament ate bwe tulinda okujjulula ekiteeso ekyo kikomyewo emirimu egyo.
Kisembayo ndowooza okubeewanga waliwo abalowooza nti loopu ono ateesa nnyo mu kifo ky'okuguguba. Ogenda bigatta otya okuteesa n'okubeera opposition kuvuganya?
Era nti byombi bitambula mitendera ebiri. Bw'ovuganya n'otakulembera osobola okuziŋŋama. Byetaaga byombi okubikola ng'obigasse. Waliwo okulaga nti ogugubye naye bw'oguguba n'osigala mu kifo kimu gw'ogugubidde asobola okukulekawo era n'akusangawo. Nda kikulu nnyo okubanga bw'okola oguguba oteekamu ate n'obuwongo obw'enjawulo okulaba ng'otambula. Ekyokubiri si buli nsonga nti yakutama peesa. Ensonga ezimu waliwo okuyimirira obusimbalaala n'olaga ekyo ky'okkirizaamu. N'oyinza okugamba nti ŋŋaanye ne bakubuuza nti ogaanye eki naye n'oddamu nti nange simanyi kye ŋŋaanye naye ŋŋaanye bugaanye. Ndowooza eyo enkola si ye yange ate ne ttiimu yange kanya nange ntusobola okukola mu ngeri y'enjawulo. Ekyo tekijjaawo tekirina n'akambu ekibikka nsonga nkulu ezo zetukkirizaamu. Ekyokubiri tetunnaba kwekkiriranyaako ku nsonga yonna gye tulina kuyimirirako nti twekkiriranyiza. Okuggyako nga waliwo ensonga y'essimbolo gy'ayinza okugamba nti ku kino mwekkiriranya awo nja kwetondera eggwanga nti ku ekyo twekkiriranya. Naye tutambula busimbalaala ate twagala tukoleko ebintu ebimu nga tubiwaako obukulembeze. N'ababadde balinamu akakunkuna nti aba-opposition bagaana bugaanyi naye ne kyetugaanye ensi osobola okukitegeera. Ndowooza ekisinga obukulu kuggyayo ebyo bye tulowooza nti bye birina okukolebwa nga tunabagaana ebyo ebikoleddwa.
Thank you very much. Saalongo, olinayo ebibuuzo? Kale.
Amanya ganze Isaac Senawulya nkola ne Sanyu FM. Mu Luganda ekya iPod obadde ogamba ebibiina bino bibannyonnyole lwaki mulina okubeera biri ebiriyo lwaki UNUP erina okubeera mu iPod. N'ekyokubiri ekyamasomero nakyo kinyonnyoleko mu Luganda ogaggulawo.
Tune n'ekyamami kyonukanduza mulundi gumu iPod. Okay. Ekisooka ekya iPod tuzze tukinyonnyola era ekibiina kyayisa ekiwandiiko ekitongole. Tetugaana bugaanyi mu ngeri ya kuguguba okugenda mu iPod. iPod tugisaako olukungo olw'okukonya ebyobufuzi. Kuba ekifaananyi eky'essomero eritayisa mwana agendayo yakona agendayo yagwa ate nange mwagala ntwaleyo abaana bange. Tubabuuza temusobola kukyusa basomesa, temusobola kukyusa headmaster. Bepo obuugi bwe mufumba bukonya abaana. Ebibuuzo ebyo tebinatuweebwako ansa ntongole. Twagala biddibwemu. iPod ebaddewo, demokolasiya waffe n'ava ku mutendera kinaatuka kugulibwa. Emigga egyatukubwa mu 2011 eyitukubiddwa mu 2016 egitukubiddwa mu 2021 gibaddeko n'ebbalaza. So olwo iPod netuyamba okukola ki? So tulina ebibuuzo bye tubuuza bye twagala biddibwemu era tulowooza nti tebinaakuddibwamu. Olwo naffe tujjulule ekirowoozo kyaffe ekigamba nti tugenda kwetaba mu mboozi ya kugumya mumwa eri mu iPod. okutuusa nga ebikolebwa bitegekebwa bulungi nnyo. Ekyamasomero twakyogerako n'emabega tukiddamu. Minisita waffe w'ebyenjigiriza Honorable Brenda Nabukenya, Sipiika yamukkiriza okukola statement entongole wetuyimiridde ku masomero ku fulo ya Parliament, era tugisuubira sabbiiti eno. Naye mu bufunze tulowooza nti ekiseera kyatuuka dda kinatera n'okuyitibwako ekyamasomero okuggulibwawo mu ngeri ey'emitendera. Bwe tugamba nti tujja kugema abaana balina emyaka 18 n'okwambuka waggulu, ekibuzo kiri nti abataweza 18 bo bakola kyewaka, kubanga oyala kugema balina 18. Kati abasomesa baabwe bo bagemye waaki bantu bali ku masomero. Naye n'okuva ku ntandikwa abajjukira ekiwandiiko kyaffe ku byenjigiriza nga bagaddewo amasomero mu COVID, twagamba nti n'okuggala amasomero kyali kikyamu. Twagamba nti amasomero gandibadde control centers. Ku masomero osobola okwawulamu abalwadde, osobola okwawulamu abo abalina obuliro nga tebannaba kulwala, bonna n'obakontrolingira awo n'osobola okukola omulimu. Mu kaseera kano byandiganye abaana badde schools okusoma nga taxi zitambula, boda zitambula, abasomesa bagemeddwa. Okusigaza abaana ewaka kabonero ka butali kakubulawo bukulembeze mu kitongole ky'ebyenjigiriza. Waliwo obulemu, waliwo okuziŋŋama kw'okuwa obukulembeze mu kitongole ky'ebyenjigiriza.
Ziwabuuza ekibuuzo bye tumalirize. Kimu kyokka bannange tugende.
Ekitiibwa kye mbadde mbuuza nti kati emyezi 3 naye tetunnafuna bago oba mateeka kuva saidi yammwe oba gavumenti oba ne ba members abali private. Kino tekikweraliikirizaamu.
Kituufu, tetunnakuba na mateeka gabayita bills. Kyemmanyi obutuufu nti amateeka oba bills ogenda okulaba etteeka okujja ku lukangaga lw'ebiteeso bya Parliament kubaako okwebuuza okutongole kwabo abavunaanyizibwa ku binaaleetebwa. Kyokka ate n'amateeka galambika nti amateeka oba ebiteeso bya gavumenti bye bisooka. Ekyo kigaana ffe naffe kuleeta byaffe. Ennaku 10 ffe tubadde mu nteekateeka kubanga tuli ba gavumenti mpya. Eno gavumenti ya myaka 35 ekyaloota byeyagala okukola. Ndoza bye baba babuuzibwa nti bajja kukola ki. Bye twajja okukola twabirambika mu lukangaga lwa legislative agenda. Tuli mu bimenyamenya okubijjamu ebiteeso ebinaaleetebwa mu butongole, era mutusuubire mu bbanga eritali lyawala okubanga tuvuddeyo mu ffumbiro. Twagala kuleeta yakakoolakoola. Mwebale nnyo.
Ssebo toyanza nnyo. Bambi mukkirize tumalirize. Obadde obuuza ki? Bannange naye kyabadde akizzeemu.
Kabuuza ekyokubiri. Webadde nnyo Mugero. Ekisooka nakizzeemu ekyobukiiko okuggyako okufunza okugamba nti tuyita mitendera okulaba nti ekiteeso kikomezebwawo mu Parliament ku lukangaga olw'ebyo ebirina okukkaanyizibwako. Ensinkano yaffe ne IMF yabaddemu ensonga nnyingi. Ekyo kyekimu ku byo bye twayogeddeko eky'ebbanja eryo. Naye nga bwe nagambye nti ab'oludda oluvuganya tosobola kufaanana nga leediyo katwe. Omala kutegeera nsonga n'ogyetooloola n'ogiwumbawumba. Ensinkano yaffe yabaddemu ebintu bingi bye twategedde. Mutulindirire bulindirizi, mutuwe omukisa okulambulula ensonga zino nga zirimu n'obukulembeze so si bigambo bugambo. Ndowooza abeebuuza batuwe omukisa tulabe nti ensonga eno etambula. Mwebale nnyo.
Thank you very much, members of the press, and we would like to appreciate you for the continued support, and we will continue to work with you. May I now invite the director for the next function.
Thank you. The leader of opposition. celebration and uprising as we perform a special ritual. And I'll ask my team to walk in and perform this ritual.
What is that?
This is the ritual, right? I'd like to perform now again and a cake that lasts 100 days of your successful work. And as the staff will commit to support you as you pursue many years. We will ask the shadow ministers to join you to cancel the 100 days off from the calendar and begin the benefits. We're going to count from 100 to 0. Okay. 99, 100. Lord, we wish you good luck in the many days to come forward, and we commit to support you as you execute your official mandate.